My parsha is Bereshit, which is the coolest and most sci-fi inspired part of the Torah. In Bereshit, we have the creation of the universe from nothing and the bioengineering of men and women in the Garden of Eden. That's so cool. But speaking as an avid student of Mandarin Chinese, there's something else in Bereshit that I think is equally cool. It is the first appearance of language in the Torah. And if you read my portion closely, I can point to you to two fascinating details. Number 1, God imparts Adam with the gift of language before Adam has any other person to talk to. Number 2, God immediately tells Adam to use his gift of language to name all the animals by himself. Question: why did God do that? God certainly had plenty of computational powers and lots of free time to name all the animals by himself, but God was generous and had a sense of humor. God deliberately let Adam be the leader. God didn't second-guess Adam, even when Adam called animals silly names like Indian bushrat, and capybara, and platypus. If you believe the literal truth of Bereshit, Adam named the platypus a platypus. Or did he? Did Adam call that creature a platypus? Or a yadlisho? Or a barvazan? The storytelling in Bereshit begs a question. What language was Adam speaking all by himself in his population of 1 on planet Earth? Well, it turns out I'm not the first person to ask this question. The overwhelming consensus of traditional Jewish thought is that Adam spoke Hebrew. These Jewish thinkers called it Lashon HaKodesh, which translates as the holy tongue. In Orthodox thought, the Hebrew language is like a golden glowing thread that stitches the dirty and arrogant world of humans to the perfection of God. Language connects us to God. And you can cite lots of examples of that thinking in Jewish commentary. Midrash Bereshit Rabbah 18:4 said Adam spoke Hebrew because he used the name Isha for women, a word clearly derived from Ish, man. The famous commentator Rashi put his rubber stamp of approval on this interpretation. The Kabbalists also believed that Adam spoke Hebrew, but as usual, they put their own super groovy mystical interpretation on it. Their Zohar asserted that Hebrew letters were in fact the spiritual building blocks of the universe. When Adam started naming animals, he wasn't just sticking labels to things. The Kabbalists believed that Adam was revealing the basic spiritual nature of people, places, animals, and things through language. Rambam agreed with this interpretation. The use of language and the act of naming are sacred acts. They serve to structure and order the universe. Language is the scaffold of creation. Many of you know that I am interested in language study, and I can read and speak Chinese. So I found it super interesting to discover that the thinking of the great Chinese philosophers mirrors Orthodox Jewish thinking. All of these great thinkers agreed that language literally orders and structures the universe. One of the core Confucian ideas is that society, morality, and even reality itself depends on naming things correctly. Confucius in his Analects wrote, "Let the ruler be ruler, the subject, subject, the father, father, the son, son." Confucius believed that the act of naming things was essentially a moral act that preserved an orderly universe. Misnaming people and things would invite chaos and social strife. There are other examples of crossover. In Chinese tradition, the written form of language, especially calligraphy, is considered a spiritual and moral discipline. The act of making brushstroke is thought to reveal profound truths about a person. It's not just a physical act. The act of writing calligraphy is a form of sacred meditation that reveals character. This aligns with Jewish mysticism, where the letters themselves carry divine energy. But let's get back to Adam, Bereshit, and the Jewish tradition. God asked Adam to name all the animals. Why did he do that? The answer can be found in stuffed animals. This is Lulan, and we go way back. When children show adults a plush toy, adults almost always ask the stuffed animal's name. Why do they do this? There's a lot of reasons. Getting kids to talk, encouraging imagination, inviting shared storytelling. But the most interesting reason is that giving the stuffed animal name bonds the child to the toy. When God told Adam to name all the animals, God was thinking like a parent. He was trying to help Adam build an emotional connection to the animals by naming them. The same way I built an emotional connection to Lulan by giving her a Chinese name. If you're wondering, Lulan's name means green-blue. Bereshit suggests that God wanted Adam to love the world's creatures and to care for the environment. We have a duty to care for the environment and to repair the world. Every bar and bat mitzvah will tell you that the Hebrew for this idea is tikkun olam. At its heart, language is about making new connections. In Bereshit, language connected Adam to all of the world's creatures. In my own life, the study of the Chinese language has connected me to a vast universe of new friends and new experiences. And as you can see, it has also connected me deeply to Judaism and Jewish thought. These connections extend to my volunteer project. I'm helping underserved kids in Taiwan learn English in partnership with an NGO called My Giraffe Organization. I'm teaching these kids English in one-on-one online sessions. Mandarin Chinese is a dominant language in Taiwan, so I'm using my Chinese to instruct these Taiwanese kids until their English is proficient. Becoming fluent in English will mean that these kids have a more interesting and more prosperous future. The Chinese language is filled with sayings that encapsulate 4,000 years of experience and wisdom. One is, 书为心惑，言为心声. It translates to, writing is a painting of the heart. Speech is the voice of the heart. Language reveals our inner states and inner truths. Speech and writing shape our reality. Language is sacred because it connects us to each other and to our world. Go get connected. Shabbat Shalom!